For the final lesson of Chapter 12, we have 12.7, where we are going to solve multiple step inequalities and be able to graph the solution. So you're going to find a lot of similarities between solving multiple step equations and solving multiple step inequalities. To start off, just remember that when you have a less than symbol, you are going to use an open circle. Likewise, when you have a greater than symbol, you're going to use an open circle. Then for our less than or equal to, closed circle. And for a greater than or equal to, you're going to use a closed circle. So when we get starting example 1 off, let's start with a two-step inequality. Y divided by 2 minus 6 is greater than 1. Let's use our clues and undos just like we did with equations to solve our two-step inequality. So looking at that, looking at my PEMDAS order, PEMDAS says to divide by 2 first and then subtract 6. So to undo that, we're going to use our inverse operations of adding 6 and to multiply by 2. So that's the order that I'm going to do it. I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides of my inequality. That is negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Then on the right side I have 7. Bring down my division, y divided by 2. Opposite is to multiply by 2. Multiply by 2. The 2's will cross simplify. So that leaves us with that lonely variable, and then 7 times 2 is 14. Now we're ready to graph our inequality, graph our solution. Alright, so on our number line, I like you to have 0, and I like you to have the number. So a solution to this inequality is any number that is greater than 14. So can you think of something that is greater than 14? Say 20. So if 20 is greater than 14, then I know that's the number that I want to have shaded in. Okay, so going back to the sign, it is a greater than sign, so we have an open circle, and I want to shade in that 20. So that means I need to shade to the right. And you can also do the check on the arrow. The arrow's facing to the right, so on the line it should be facing to the right. So you can always double check that. So the solution to this inequality is any number greater than 14. Moving down a bit, we're going to start another problem. 19 is less than or equal to negative 2q plus 5. My clues and undos tells me multiply by negative 2q and to add 5. To undo that, we're going to subtract 5 and divide by negative 2. You always got to take the negative with it. And also, you might want to star this because since our inverse operation involves a negative, we are going to reverse the inequality sign. Okay, and that's what we learned just yesterday. So, beware of that. Alright, so my first undo is to subtract 5. So let's subtract 5 from both sides of our inequality. So minus 5, 5 minus 5 is 0, minus 5 over here on the left, and I get 14 is less than or equal to Since that's 0, all I have left is that negative 2q. Alright, we are one step closer to getting the variable by itself, but now I need to divide by negative 2. Divide. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is positive 1. So the variable is by itself, and then 14 divided by negative 2 is negative 7. Since we had that inverse operation with the negative, we have to reverse the sign. So make sure that you flip that sign when you divide by negative. Alright, so now we have our solution, right? This is our solution, but I'm still not really happy with that as my final answer. I'm going to flip the inequality. So I'm going to flip the q and the negative 7, and when I do that, I got to flip the sign back. Okay, so the arrow is pointing at the q, the arrow should still be pointing at the q. Now that my variable is on the left side, I'm ready to graph it. So here's my 0, and here's my negative 7. I'm going to need a closed circle, so shading the circle in at my negative 7, and I need to think of a number that is less than 7, so like negative 10 is less than 7, so I need to shade in that direction. I'm going to be shading to the left. This arrow is to the left, and that arrow is to the left, so that would be my solution. Any number that is equal to or less than negative 7. Hopefully you have room. I want to do one more example with you that has like terms with it. So here I have 3j minus 8 minus 5j is all greater than or equal to a negative 16. So just like when we did our multiple step equations, I have like terms here on the left side of my equation. So since they're on the same side, I'm going to combine the like terms. So when I have negative 5j and a positive 3j, combining those together will give me a negative 2j minus 8 is greater than or equal to negative 16. So now I'm to a two-step inequality. So my clues and undos would tell me I need to add or subtract first, adding 8 to both sides. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. Bring down everything else, which is just my negative 2j. I haven't divided or multiplied yet, so my sign is safe. Negative 16 plus 8 would be a negative 8. Last step of clues and undos would to undo this multiplying, so I'm going to divide by negative 2 and divide by negative 2. Since I am dividing by a negative, not because the 8 is negative, but because the inverse was a negative, that is why I'm flipping the sign. So I'm going to flip the sign to be there. My division leaves me with a j and a positive 4. Alright, graphing. Got to graph our solution. I need a 0. I need a 4. Open or closed circle. It's going to be closed because of that line under there. I'm including the 4 in my solution. Okay, now I need to think of a number that is less than 4. So how about 0? 0 is less than 4, so that's the direction we're going to shade. We're going to shade to the left, arrow pointing to the left, arrow pointing to the left. So that is a graph of our solution to the inequality. To conclude this video, I'd like to send you with an on your own question. So I'm not going to solve this one out for you, but I'd like you to try it on your own and then come and check it with your shoulder partner tomorrow. Alright, so try this problem on your own. 4 times the quantity of 4 minus r plus 1 is greater than 13. Good luck and let me know how you do on that problem.